Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between Tzeentch and the High Elves. It's going to be myself with a big old chicken, actually going to be an Exalted Lord of Change, facing off against Subutai, who's going to be rocking the standard High Elf Classic. Imric, of course, very, very good. Powerful duelist, huge HP pool. Dragon Breath attack's pretty good against heavily armored infantry, and just pretty much anything it can hit, really. And he does have the Dragon Horn, which buffs the entire army's melee attack, which is right here. Yes, yes. Now, as far as my force goes, it's going to be mostly warriors in the opening. I always like to open with warriors when I'm playing Chaos and then have Zangors come in the secondary. Zangors are faster, they come out of Vanguard. These guys are a little bit more stalwart. They can certainly take that initial beating better, and they're slower too, so you want to get them up to the battlefield when the objectives aren't in play, right? So front line's going to be Chaos Warriors. In the back, we do have the Severed Claw, just going to be there to deal with any mass monsters and just cavalry, just be difficult to remove in general. And of course, you don't want to leave home without Aekold Hellbrass. Against the High Elves, he's quite good. High Elves have Silverin, Swordmasters, Phoenix Guard. They have a lot of good quality infantry. White Lions are very common here too. So having this character to just sit and kind of work on those good quality troopers is very, very pertinent. So, on the far side, Exalted Chicken going to be flying around. I went with Tzeentch as the casting lore. The Portal Glyph is very good here. Basically, you get 2 charges of Furies, which you can summon and then just dive them on top of Archers or Lothern Sea Guard, and you're going to get some great value for sure. So the idea is to do a big warrior push and then basically use the Portal Glyph to try and shut down the Archers. Now, for Subutai's army, it's very standard, very meta. Going to be Silverin Guard with Archers and Lothern Sea Guard in the secondary, basically. So it's very tanky front line with a little bit of jacket in the back. It might struggle slightly against armor. Granted, Imric is very good at cleaning up armor en masse with breath attacks and just being a Star Dragon, and you can call in armor piercing from there, like Swordmasters and White Lines of Grace and all that sort of good stuff. So we'll have to see how this unfolds. Mage of Life in the back, going to be doing Regrowth and Earthblood. The big spells, if you have a character like Imric, you want to heal them. And this is one of my other favorites in this matchup, are the Doom Knights. So Doom Knights of Tzeentch are really, really awesome. Super resilient, and they can get into backfields and cause a ton of issues against Grand Cathay, against High Elves, against a lot of those factions. I mean, yes, Iron Hill Gunners can stop them pretty hard, but they have short range. You can usually outmaneuver them and take down the Archers and Crossbows with good efficacy. So here they come. Shield's going to be absorbing the initial charge. I do try and juke it a little bit before we dive in there. Portal Glyph going down from the big chicken. So you do see the Chaos Furies going to be diving on the Archers. And immediately we do shut down 3 units. On top of that, the Doom Knights have an excellent bombardment. So I noticed those are Lothern. So I'm like, all right, let's drop a steaming hot Tzeentchian payload on them. Takes them down to about 40%. And then they dive over and go after the Archers, which they're absolutely going to be obliterating in combat. Granted, Imric is nearby, so a little bit scary. But you can see how the Lothern Sea Guard just got broken like immediately. That is big, big value city. And the Fury's also getting a fair amount of backfield pressure, shutting down multiple Archer units as Subutai calls in the White Lines of Grace. So far side point, it's going to be 2 Marauders just sitting here, Marauders of Tzeentch, while the Severed Claw is going to be heading towards Objective 1 here. Aekold Hellbrass is going to be leading the way in the front against the forces of the High Elves. So let's see some of the cool Jedi moves. Starts to levitate, looking extra tricky, and is he going to do a cool attack? Don't disappoint us. We've been watching this entire time. And he does slash in and gets a little bit of a karate chop there. Doesn't take out any models despite all the, the flashy plays. So Doom Knight's full health, Chicken full health. Great shutdown there so far. Those backfield units are, definitely not having a good time. Summon Furies have been taken down, and now Chaos Warriors and Aekold have engaged in the front. And a Chaos Warrior unit will defeat a Silverin Guard. It might take a long time because they're both super tanky, but overall the Chaos Warriors should do well, especially with your boy Aekold back here doing his Jedi stuff and basically just owning souls. So here comes ye old Silverin Guard in the flank. Chaos Warriors easily going to be able to intercept them in tandem with the Severed Claw, should be fine. Swordmasters of Hoeth did get called in, and I did use a blue fire, and 1 blue fire did all that damage. It was like right down the side, and it was pretty much a very lucky hit. It just did brutal damage. We're going to drop another one right now, and we'll come across, picking off a couple more of those models. Any of those elite units that we can drag down is going to be quite cost effective. So Swordmasters in a very bad way as they approach, but the High Elves are pulling a little bit of value back in some fronts. Here, these Chaos Warriors took quite a bit of peppering power from Imric and the Star Dragon. In the back, the Tzeentch Chicken using his pink fire and attacking into the Archers. So far, getting some pretty respectable damage. Meanwhile, the Doom Knights do get caught up. So I did blunder the Doom Knights, and that's where he's really getting his value back right now. I dove, and they got kind of caught by some Reavers, and they kept tethering back, despite some of the changes. I don't know if it affects Doom Knights, but the White Lines of Grace are doing a lot of damage to them. So I was like, okay, the new game plan for the Doom Knights is to stay and fight, and then use the Tzeentch army ability as soon as I can to try and nuke the blob of units that are punishing them. Now, trying to steal the side objective from the High Elves, but the Spearmen have been able to kind of anchor that one down. On the middle, though, it's very decisive for us. The Swordmasters getting pretty darn beat up. White Lines of Grace do move in, but getting hit by another blue fire there. Very nasty spell. And overall, Aekold and the Chaos Warriors just shining. Really, really doing super well here with the armor piercing. Couple Screamers mixing in. Always got to look at these Tzeentchian animations for sure. They're really cool. I think the Blue Scribes have one of the neatest ones. Now, Severed Claw pushing back the Tattered Swordmasters, and now the elite of Tzeentch going to be moving in to battle the White Lines of Krace, which is not a great fight for them. They are still a halberd unit. Yes, they might find a way to win this, but even still, they would take some unfortunate damage in the process. And you can see they're going to be taking some big HP losses, although the White Lines of Krace are getting a little bit smashed up too. So noticing a bit of an ebb here with the great weapons arriving. I do pull in the Marauders to do some flanking and try and break their leadership. Meanwhile, Imric chased the Doom Knights off. I believe he routed them off the edge of the battlefield and will be coming back here. And also forgot to mention, this is one of our new maps. It's a really, really cool one. We just had 3 new maps to the Total Tavern map pack, so you'll be seeing those in tournaments, and I'll be hosting some in the next few days for sure. But Chaos Warriors grinding it out on the objective. Marauders coming around the side, and now the Big Chicken does see an opportunity to get this Mage of Life, which was very, very overextended. So Aekold and the Big Bird are going to be trying to take down that Mage of Life. Meanwhile, archers in the back unleashing some pretty heavy-duty shooting. So here we see the Marauders of Tzeentch going to be scooting up. Spears do meet them head on, but Marauders of Tzeentch they would lose to Silverin, but again, Silverin's DPS output isn't amazing, although it's pretty similar actually to the Marauders. Melee attack and damage output is not too far apart. Side point does fail for us. We tried to get that, but unfortunately the old Dragon Imric was able to hold it with some of these White Lines of Krace. Meanwhile, Zangors looping around the formation using their 40 movement speed and shock damage to try and get on top of the Lothern Sea Guard and press that backfield. Over here, the trading is going very well for us. The Big Chicken using Blue Fires to wear down the Mage of Life. So far, that thing has been taking a pretty big beating here, and if we can get rid of it, it's going to make Imric a bit of a softer target. So Screamers of Tzeentch come in, anti-large attacks on Imric. Man, he's so hard to kill, though. He's such a raid boss. HP pool, and his melee defense is pretty good for a monster up at 56 as well. A couple little Popcorn Bandits have made their way in, so it's going to be Blues. Blues, not great damage, but I just like them to have, they're pretty quick. They're fast capture weight. You can use Marauders as well, but they give you a little bit of range utility as well, so you just kind of park them on the back of the objective, and they, do a little bit of wear and tear on those bad boys. Zangors on the other side trying to fight, but surrounded by the White Lines of Krace. Nonetheless, they do shut down a couple of the archer units here, so you can see the archers are paying the toll as these Zangors do win that fight. Might be able to actually turn around and beat both these units. We'll see. But overall, it looks like they're going to be continuing the hunt, stomping their hooves angrily as they do pursue those Lothern Sea Guard. So back on this side of the battlefield, White Lines of Krace coming in as well as Illyrian Reavers. So not motivating. Well, I guess, I'm motivating my troops, but repositioning them and moving them over here to try and intercept these Reavers. Looks like the Reavers going to come in and do battle, save Imric from being attacked by the Screamers, but overall they're going to get dragged into a fight versus some anti-large, anti-cav units, which is good. Chaos Furies, these are the second portal glyph, really useful. Honestly, I think better than Kairos in this matchup. Kairos is very good if you want to use a Mutalith Beast because he can give it regrowth, but the Big Chickens are very disruptive. Having 2 Fury summons in your back pocket mitigates one of the big weaknesses of Furies, which is the approach, right? You could just summon them right where you want them, and their DPS is actually very good. A couple Doom Knights came back from Route 2. They got chased to the edge of the battlefield, but at the end of the day, they were able to get it. So another fire going down here. The Mage does get popped and is going to be very close to breaking at 355. Bird's going to be coming in to try and give it the word. As these Zangors end up doing battle with Imric, pretty much going to be a horrible, horrible fight for the Zangors. Imric is still full health. I mean, despite fighting a multitude of units that are actually reasonably good against him. You can see what I was saying about his durability and his staying power. But hopefully with the Mage of Life being gone, that will get rid of the Earth Bloom passive for the army, because every time it casts a spell, it heals the entire army for 1% of its HP, which is 100 HP on a lot of infantry units. It's pretty damn good, actually. So for example, if you have like, let's say like 10 units with, 10,000 HP, you're going to be getting like 700 or 800 HP just from the lore passive, not just a spell. So yeah, very, very strong stuff. Screamers tearing apart the Reavers. At this point, it's looking pretty bleak for the High Elves, pretty much pushed back on most fronts. The value is close-ish, but I do, of course, have the good old shield regeneration, and the High Elves are just running out of pushing power, really, and they're triple capped. A couple speedy cav coming in on this side, but the Zangors moving up to the objectives are doing a lot. And though Imric is still here, the Screamers are such a good answer against him in sustained fighting. Like, they can push him back. He does not want to fight Screamer units. And it's mainly just a couple archers coming in, Reavers coming in, but we just have such good anchors on all the points with all our armor that is basically going to be GG, well played there. Big Screamers coming back across. You can see Imric's going to get surrounded here. Screamers do descend on him. Blob Fight's going to be favoring us pretty heavily while the Big Chicken just continues tearing it down. And though a little bit of a, ebb and flow in this cap weight here, the High Elves inevitably get mass routed, and Imric is just going to be circle beaten pretty hard here. And really, even if he got the middle objective, he lost both the flanks, there would be no time for him with just a big character like Imric to get it back. So that's it. GG, well played. Just wanted to show you the power of the Exalted Lord of Chicken. He's very, very good. He single-handedly carried that game, I think. 2,500 value, yes. But like 3 archer units pretty much got shut down by him in the awesome Doom Knight bombardment. So don't sleep on Doom Knights. They're a very underrated unit. If I hadn't blundered them on the side, they could have been doing annoying harass like that the entire game, which would have been devastating. But of course, Subutai did a good job catching me and punishing me for it. So Yeah, GG, well played. It was a fun one. As far as the High Elves go, nothing really did super good. Silverans, I suppose, held their own, but they do lose to the Chaos Warrior in the front line. And yeah, White Lions of Grace had better performances when they got in there. That was pretty much it for me. It was mainly just the Screamers, and Aekoldin at 825 on the Chicken. And some of the Warriors held their own. It was a good one. GG, well played. See you guys on the other side. That's it for today.